Hi, in this video we are going to discuss about regularization. And before we start discussion about regularization, let's talk a little bit about overfitting. What is the problem of overfitting in any algorithm for saying? So suppose we are having this type of data, green and pink data points, and we have to classify these data points. Now we have two choices of data. The first is this blue model, okay, and other is this red model. You can see that blue model is actually not very well separating the 2 points, okay, whereas this red model is separating each and every point, okay. It is, it's basically entering into the other's house and trying to pick out the value, pick out the data point. If we look in a nutshell, it is very clearly visible that the red model is actually much better, okay. But the thing is, when we are talking about long term, the overfitted model actually increases the chances of error to a very large extent and increases the complexity of the model as well, okay. So overfitted model become too complex and they also increase the chances of error. So the better model, if we look at the longer picture, a bigger picture, then the better model is the model which is, simply fitting. It's it may be classifying a few values as wrong, but it's okay. So this is the graph which shows which is plotted between the error and model complexity. Now when we are talking about the training set, that we have 1,000 records, then we split the data into training and test set. So when we are talking about the training set, the set from which we are evaluating the model, so since we are evaluating the model through that particular set, the results will obviously be showing less error. That is why we will proceed in that direction, okay. So for that particular training set, we will keep on increasing the model complexity. We will be making the model more and more overfitting. But when we will test that model on the test set, the type of data that it had not seen already, then you will see that the graph is something like this. Basically, it's a parabola which says that the error will be minimum at a certain amount of model complexity, optimum complexity. Once the complexity starts to increase after that point, the error will also starts increasing. So these are the problems with overfitted model. And yeah, so basically don't look too deep into something, okay. So basically you have to look deep enough that you can identify that what is the object. You don't have to look deep, bilkul too deep, okay. So overfitting is not good for model handling the real world dataset, because real world dataset is filled with a lot of things, and overfitting makes the model too complex and it kills the accuracy. This is something that we just saw. And the way to deal with this overfitting problem is, first way is dropout. In dropout, what we do, we drop the records, okay. For example, a plane is falling, so what is the best thing a pilot can do is just drop some of the customer's luggage, a passenger's luggage. So that is what happens in drop down. Suppose we are having image like that, filter like that, and we had generated a feature map like this. The idea of dropout is to drop a few records before sending it to the next layer. So before we send this feature map to the next layer, we drop certain records. So if we are applying a drop of 0.25, that means we are dropping 25% of the records, okay. So in this output, in this feature map, if we were having 4x4 dimension, that is 16 cells, after applying the dropout of 0.25, we will have left 12 activation cells only. But the thing is, the size do not change, okay. The size still remain the same. It's just that the cells are empty, they do not have anything inside that. And another way to deal with overfitting is regularization. How? we have weights and biases. Okay, so instead of dropping the records, what we do, we reduce the value of weights and bias evenly. Okay, so if whenever we are feeling that our model is being too complex or too overfitted, what we do, we evenly decrease the values of weights and biases. Okay, so regularization reduces the values of learnable parameters, and doing that we can also achieve achieve less overfitting. Okay, and this is one question. It says if the output of convolution layer has the size of this, so basically this is the feature map, and it is sent to the next layer, applying the dropout of this, what is the size, what is the input shape of the next layer? It will be same, because the shape don't change, only the values are dropped. They remain empty, but they are still same, the shape is same. Okay, so this was it for CNNs. From the next video we will start RNN, recurrent neural networks.